Hello and welcome to Marshall Close-Up, where this week we'll be interviewing a hard worker in our community, Seth Rickard. Hello, Seth.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how about you?
Doing all right.
So, what inspired you to do ironworking?
Well, to be honest, it was kind of the next best thing after my previous career. I'm a little bit of an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
And ironworking just kind of fit the niche, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
working at heights and swinging around iron and steel and stuff like that.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it is. It can be.
Sounds like that. Sounds like you've had some off days.
Yeah, and I had some bad days too, but you know, they're few and far between nowadays, so it's not that bad.
That's good. And what was your job before them?
I was in the United States Marine Corps before I got into ironworking.
Ah, okay. How was that?
Yeah, how was that?
How was that?
Well, that was a long time ago. It was a long time and a lot of pounds ago. But yeah, it was good. It was a good experience for me. I really needed it at that point in my life. I needed the structure and the direction and all that kind of stuff. So it was a good thing for me.
Yeah. Have you used any of those skills now that they passed over?
You talking about like from the Marine Corps to now?
Yeah.
I learned a lot about leadership. I learned a lot about what to do and what not to do. Specifically. So I learned what I did not want to be like. So the leadership aspect of it, time management, those kinds of things. That's something everybody learns when they're in the military, whether it's the Marine Corps, the Army, the Navy, it doesn't matter. I mean, they give you the structure needed to expedite certain processes in your life. So.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, and teamwork there too?
Yeah, a lot of teamwork. You learn to do, specifically like with the ironworking and stuff, you learn to develop a working relationship and trust in each other. Because, I mean, whether you're conducting combat operations overseas or you are working 80 or 100 feet off the ground with somebody else, you got to have trust in your partner. That's the bottom line to it. So.
Yeah, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to do anything.
Things go sideways real quick.
When did you start ironworking?
So it would be like late summer of 2015. So I'm coming up on 10 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that when teachers get a tenure? Isn't that what that is?
I don't know. I should know that because my wife teaches at North Marshall, but I don't know. I don't know what their tenure date is. But yeah.
Are you held in the position?
You talking about like an ironworking?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go through, you apply with the local that you want to join, the local union that you want to join. And for instance, the one I'm a part of is Local 782 out of Paducah. And you apply with them and you go through an interview process and they tell you, yeah or nay. Yeah, we want you to come work with us, and no, sorry, we don't think you got it. And anyway, if you get accepted, they put you into an apprenticeship program, and it's a 4-year program.
Wow.
So you will go to school, you'll go to your apprenticeship classes, which is basically school. Now it's changed since I've been in, but now the first year is 2 nights a week. You go up there for, it's 4 hours a night, so 8 hours a week. And you do that, it follows the school semester. So you'll do that in the fall, you do it in the spring, get a break in between. And then your second, third, and fourth year now, you go through what's called block training, and you get it all out in one shot. You'll do like 2 weeks in the fall and 2 weeks in the spring, but you'll go for a week solid at a time, 8 hours a day, and you'll go up there and do your classes and get your certifications and all that kind of stuff. But it is a 4-year program. You got to have a certain amount of hours, and the whole time you're doing it, you're also working during the day.
Yeah.
So classes start at 6 o'clock at night when you're at night school, and they last until 10. So you're going to work 8, 10, 12 hours, and then boogie down there to the hall and be in class for 4 hours. So yeah, it's demanding, But you do 4 years of that, you become a journeyman iron worker after you pass the top out test and all that kind of stuff, And then once you're a journeyman, you're a full-fledged member of a local. You can, vote in the elections. You can vote on decisions and stuff up there at the hall about where the money goes and all those kinds of things, contracts in different states and everything. But yeah, so you get your full membership after those 4 years, and you pass the test, and you've done all the hours and schooling that you're supposed to do.
You finally own the trust, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
As an iron walker, what kind of things have you worked on before?
I have been a part of some really cool projects. I've done a lot of neat things. Some of them are around here, and some of them are elsewhere in the country. I've been a lot of places. One of the cool ones that's around here is the Kentucky Lock and Dam up here. I believe, I'm not 100% positive on this, but I believe I'm the only living member of the local that has worked on the old set of miter gates and the new set. So the gates that let the barges and boats through at the lock and dam, I've worked on the old set, refurbishing them and redoing them and all that kind of stuff. And then I was on a crew working for National Steel Erectors back in the day when I first got in. This was like 9 years ago. But putting up the new miter gates, so building them basically, putting them in place, welding them together and all that kind of stuff. I worked on Papa John's Stadium in Louisville, where the University of Louisville Cardinals play. That was, golly, how long ago was that? 2016, 17, somewhere in there. But the project was called Coming Full Circle, and it used to be a horseshoe-shaped stadium, and they wanted to make it a bowl, so wanted to make it a full, circle. So I was on the crew for Paget Construction up there, putting the bottom half of the stadium up. I've worked some big, tall structures, buildings and stuff like that. I've done some cool stuff, Now, everybody, it's like, oh, you're a construction worker and things like that. Well, yeah, I am, but because I build things out of iron and steel, a lot of the things that I build are going to be here way long after I'm gone, So that's the cool part about it.
What was the thing that you found the funnest to work on?
Oh, I don't know. The one aspect of the job that I used to really like, and I still do like it now, my role has changed a little bit, and I don't get to have as much fun anymore. But one thing I really used to like doing was connecting, and that's connecting the pieces of steel when they're up in the air. So like walking around on the beams and putting in the bolts and being the guy that's way up there on the iron. That's what I really used to like to do. So yeah.
I don't think I could do that. I have a feeling
it's that's kind of that's a make or break thing with us. You either can do it or you can't, and you're gonna know real quick which one you are. Yeah. So.
And what does an average day look like there?
Oh man. So right now I'm working on a building in Murray. And it's not a real big structure, but I mean, it's still iron and steel, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so a typical day, like when we started the job, we had a concrete pad with some anchor bolts sticking up out of the concrete, and that was it. There was nothing. We had a big pile of material, big pile of steel, So we show up, I would, as the foreman, I would decide what needs to happen when. I make what's called a pick list, which is like the pieces and in order that I need them to be put up in. And then I would make that out, and I'd give it to the guys, and I'd pretty much, at that point, I'd devolve into just directing traffic. That's all I'm doing. The guys take over at that point. And they take that pick list, they start selecting the pieces of iron. We get it over there to the pad. We're setting the stuff on the anchor bolts, getting the columns put up. The columns are the vertical pieces. Your beams and girders are the horizontal members that connect those two. And then the building just kind of takes shape from there. It just one little piece at a time.
And out of curiosity, what different kind of tools do you use doing this?
Oh man, we've got a plethora of tools. It really depends on what you're doing. So like 782 is a mixed local. And what that means is we do all aspects and facets of ironworking. So any given day, I can go out on a job doing structural iron, which is what I just described to you, putting up beams and girders and columns and stuff like that. We do reinforcing ironworking as well, which is rebar. We're putting in rebar into concrete form so that the concrete can get poured around it and stiffen the structure up, make it less prone to breaking apart and all that kind of stuff. And then there's also the ornamental aspect of it. So ornamental would be like handrail, window wall, curtain wall, stuff like that. Stuff that's supposed to look pretty, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, tools-wise, like, if you're doing connecting stuff, you know, my connecting belt, when I've got 2 spuds and a sleever bar and a beater and bullpins and, you know, all my safety gear and everything that we've got to carry, I mean, it'll weigh like 70, 80 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, it's heavy. Because you got, you know, you'll have your bolts and stuff. You got to carry all that stuff with you because you're going to be up in the air. There's nobody to bring it to you, you know. So you got to take everything with you when you do it. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff, you know.
Yeah. And I heard that you worked on the renovations for MCHS.
Yes. I was the ironworking foreman out here on the renovations at the tech center.
What was that like?
It was a good job. It had its drawbacks. It had its challenges, I will say.
Yeah.
There were some delays caused by weather and things like that, and you know, but we persevered. We got it done.
I think there always is.
Yeah, there always is. You're always going to, and we always lose, but we're always going to battle Mother Nature on these jobs. Like I was out here when it first started back last summer when school was out, and. We were doing the inside renovations where they had torn a bunch of the ceiling and stuff out, and we beefed up some of the roof structure, and then we left for a little bit to allow the other trades and crafts to catch up, you know, on the outside to where we could come and start doing that part. But man, when we came back, I remember it was January 6th when we came back this year, and the temperatures were just brutal. It killed us. I mean, it was like single-digit temperatures with below zero wind chills, and we're trying to swing iron and steel, walking on ice. And it was rough. And then the spring hit, and we had so much rain, and I mean, it was just But we got it done. We're I believe for the most part, we've got a few little things we might have to come back and hit, but I believe we're pretty well closed out on it. I think the ironworking part of it is done for the tech center renovations. Now it's on, you know, the roofers and the electricians and the plumbers and all that
everything
kind of
else.
stuff. Yeah. We got it built. You guys have at it. So
let's see, what was it? If you had another job, what would it be?
Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really do. I'm a rare person. I really do like what I do. I honestly do. Yeah.
Never think of anything else?
Well, I mean, there's days where I get in my head a little bit and wish that I could have went all the way with my career in the military. But then I'm kind of brought back to reality, and I think to myself, I don't necessarily miss the circus. I just miss the clowns, you know. I miss my buddies. I don't miss the 3-ring circus that used to be. But yeah, man. I mean, I really do enjoy what I do. I some days I wish that I could pass the boss man hat off, you know. 'Cause a lot of times I'd rather just be a guy working on his tools. Like
You don't want to orchestrate everything?
It gets old after a while, you know. It's a lot of thinking. There's a lot more involved to it, you know. So yeah, sometimes it just becomes a headache, and I just want to take the blueprints, roll them up, throw them away, and just go to work, like, you know. Which it's a weird thing to say because everybody wants to be in charge. But I always say that's until you're in charge. And then things start going sideways, and it's on you. You got to figure out how to fix it. So yeah.
And then to wrap this up, are there any tips that you share throughout the business? Is there anything like, oh, whenever you're up there and it's too cold, you just got to think of this?
Well, I mean, we don't.
it's just be better.
Pretty much. The only thing that we don't do is if it's raining like really hard, and that it's not because we don't like being wet. I mean, I don't like being wet anyway. But it's because the iron gets slick when you're walking on it and stuff, and it becomes a safety thing, you know. But I mean, if it's just really, really cold outside, we just got to deal with it. When it gets really, really hot outside, you know. We just got to deal with it. You know, we take care of each other, you know, like the guys, especially the crew I've got now, we've been together for a long time. And we know, you know, when one of us is getting a little
Out
too
of
hot or needs to go sit in the truck and warm up for a little while, you know.
Yeah.
Hey man, let's
Switch out.
yeah, go drink some water, go, you know, whatever, go sit in the heat for a minute, whatever it may be. So we take care of ourselves, because I mean, we're the first ones on a job site, you know.
Yeah.
Well, some of the first ones. But, you know, a lot of times we're out on a job and there's nobody there but us. So there's nobody call if something goes wrong. We have to rely on
Yeah.
each other. It goes back to that trust thing I was talking about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, but like tips and stuff like that for somebody wanting to get in the trade, just so know that when you come in, there's a learning curve. You know,
Yeah.
nobody starts this stuff knowing everything. You know,
Yeah.
even people that come to us that have like welding certifications from, you know, a place like the Tech Center, things like that. Like ironworking is definitely a learning curve, and it's not just
Yeah.
one thing. Like there's a lot to it, you know, and we'll teach you. But what I tell people is be teachable. You
Yeah.
know, have a little bit of an open mind. You know, don't come in here thinking you're hot stuff and you know everything, because we can prove to you real quick that you don't.
Yeah.
So,
Let it
but yeah, be
flow.
teachable, you know, and that's a good one. Is when you come to us and, you know, think about getting into the career, just have the head on your shoulders that, all right, I need to maybe close my mouth a little bit and listen to what these guys have to say.
Yeah, be
you know?
ready to calm down. And
Yeah, because I mean, it
think
can be dangerous, you know. A lot of these
Yeah.
things can be very dangerous. So when I was down at Kentucky Dam, as a matter of fact, some of the gate pieces that we were swinging with a crane, you know, they would be like, you know, 100 feet in the air or whatever, but they weighed 90 tons a piece. It was 180,000 pounds, and we had, I think they're 4 tall, so 4 sections, 2 sides, 8 pieces in total. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is a ton of steel. That's a lot of steel, and we're picking it up and having to set it on, you know, a pin that's this big around on one side and a ball that's about half the size of this table on the other side.
Oh, okay.
So it's, you know, it's a balancing act, and we must get it right the first time. You know what I mean?
Or else you're going to have to deal with the consequences
Yeah,
of it.
or else somebody hopefully is going to the hospital and not the morgue.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That has been really good. It's been really good having you here.
Oh, thank you.
I think we'll close this off now.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been the Marshall Close-Up with the MCHS Media team. Have a good night.